You play a game to play a game, and as always you have a game that has creatures or people that seem to blend into the world you're exploring. Whether it's the cute enemies in Kirby, the cartoony Heartless from Kingdom Hearts, or the fun enemies in Mario. You know what? I still have no idea what the fuck these things are. The point is, games have characters that inhabits its world, whether they are there to help you out or cause the unending deal of death over and over, like fucking Slicers from Sonic 2. Of course, since the subject is all about Final Fantasy XIV, I'm gonna have to pick one that I think is the most interesting. The Amalj'aa. Yeah, those lizard things, we're gonna talk about these guys for the entirety of the video. Sorry it's not about a dungeon or something, but I promise you it won't be boring. Hopefully. I am the Sinkweaver, and the area of interest today will be the Thanalan region of Eorzea. Our subject today, the race of lizardmen who worship Ifrit, the fire-seeking Amalj'aa. When you think of the Amalj'aa, what usually comes to mind? Annoying, hot-tempered, and violent lizardmen, right? Well, let's just take the other tribes in perspective. Now yes, the race you come in contact with first are the primal worshipping Amalj'aa. They are known to be incredibly violent towards the other race, not only raiding passing traders and people, but also stealing not only their crystals to summon and support their patron primal, Ifrit, but to also have the people tempered so to be his and their eternal slaves. These Amalj'aa think nothing of the other races that live on Heatalin, believing that Thanalan was forged by scorching heat. They couldn't be any more wrong, but they believe it as truth, such is the reason why they believe that Thanalan is rightfully theirs for the taking, and because of this, they are usually in conflict with Ul'dah and its people. Now, due to the actions against the Ul'dah people, talks of peace usually fly out the window. But there is a small tribe of Amalj'aa who beset the rule of Ifrit and are considered enemies from the rest of the Amalj'aa race. These are the Brotherhood of Ash. Where the other Amalj'aa think of nothing but war and power, these few beastmen think of honor and peace. Though they see power as a means to show authority, they do not treat the weak as slaves or anything less than a person. They instead show concern and for the most part try to keep them from hurting themselves. Those who are weak but has potential should train and be patient, which is reason why they treat their hatchlings in a way of discipline, but at the same time also treat them with care and respect. This is also evident when you, as a strong and reliable hero, enter their ranks as an honored ally. You fight on the side of the Brotherhood so to work together to bring down the primal worshipper. They see you as a strong and powerful warrior, which is why they treat you as such. Though power is something similar to both the Amalj'aa tribe, they have different concepts for them, one being slavery, the other being honor. So as you may have noticed, there seems to be a lack of female Amalj'aa. Now I'm not sure if the Amalj'aa do have females, or since they're lizardmen, they just reproduce asexually, but it is evident that they do have children, such as the hatchlings I talked about earlier. This doesn't really give me much of a concern, but I realize that they actually do lay eggs, hatchlings being the prime evidence to this, as a hatchling usually refers to a baby just being born from an egg, and as stated before, the strong will thrive, meaning the hatchlings are trained from birth. Now, some other noticeable things are their care for the land. Primal or not, they both care for the land around them and will fight for it if necessary. Though the primal worshipping Amalj'aa are more aggressive in their crusade, the Brotherhood of Ash tries to make a peaceful dispute on the land they share, from taming the aggressive fire drake to using natural materials for their forgery. It is to be noted that they are forgers of weapons, blacksmiths to be respectful. Now, the only prime proof of how good they are in the weapons their primal drops after a battle. Now, it goes without saying that all beastmen are pretty good at metalwork, but it seems the Amalj'aa relies on it the most. They seem to hold more metal weapons than any beastman tribe on Eorzea, and their encampment consists of metal buildings housing their metal-based weapons, plus more machine works the deeper you enter their territory. Now as for the relationship with Ifrit, it's to everyone's guess that they worship him as a god. The Brotherhood sees this as blasphemy to their kin. The Brotherhood leader, Amalj'aa, tells you that once, the Amalj'aa needed not the power of Ifrit to thrive, but just the land itself. This is why they deem the other Amalj'aa their sworn enemies for going against this. Of course, it should be told that they are not only empowered by Ifrit, but controlled by him as well. Tempered is the word they use for those under Ifrit's thumb, but as the hero, you are immune to these effects and can fight the Primal without interruption. Although, there's more to this power, but that would have me talk about Ifrit, and that will be done another day. So now we know of the Amalj'aa and such, but where did Square get the concept for them? I believe the answers lie in Final Fantasy XI. In the world of Vana'diel, there lives a beastman tribe called the Quadrav. They are a reptilian turtle-like race that live for a hell of a long time. Again, possibly asexual in nature, they lay eggs in caves that are damp and moist, but are also intelligent enough to work pipes of hot air into their cave nest to incubate their eggs. Their capital lies in Beta-Ux, a swampy region near the Pashao marshlands, and are almost exclusively found in Quan. Their kingdom is ruled by the Adaman King in a sort of hierarchy. The way their ranks works is if you are old, you are experienced and tough, giving you more of an edge, seeing how the older they are, the tougher their shells become. Also, if you're an elite, possibly through combat and age, you are given a metal surname if you are a warrior of weapons, and a precious gem if you are a mage of sorts. These beastmen are about the same in terms of character and organization to the Amalj'aa, but are different for their ties to earth and water, instead of fire like the Amalj'aa are. Instead of raids, the Quadrav are just very territorial and will attack anyone who steps upon their land. And it's to be noted that the city of Bastok was once a mine that the Quadrav once dug out and lived in a long time ago. Another similarity is their affinity for wastelands and deserts. While Thanalan does have a desert, it is mostly a savanna with a rich amount of vegetation, which thrives in deserts. And while the Gustaberg region is more desert-like in nature, it also houses the richest veins of ore and gems in the entire continent. It goes without saying that a desert and a savanna is very close to their similarities, and also due to the fact that they are both almost geologically in the same place as the other. Seriously, look at this. Ul'dah, Bastok. Ul'dah, Bastok. Thanalan, Gustaberg. Thanalan, Gustaberg. Coincidence? Now, as we all know, Quadrav are not much of a tribe, whereas the Amalj'aa are. This is a bit of a difference, but they both share the background of being great at metalworks. Quadrav are also genius foragers of metal. Though they are better miners than the Amalj'aa, they are not as great of fighters, but make it up for their genius foraging. I'm not exactly sure which one is the better forager, but they both are credited for being geniuses in their respective fields. Now, what does this matter in the long run? Well, if you think of the enemies that have been copied from 11 and pasted into this game, you'll see that they could have just done that and updated the character design, kinda like what they did with the main 5 races. But they didn't. The Amalj'aa are originals with some shared qualities of the Quadrav. Though the concept for them isn't so original in MMO terms, their character and design are original in the Final Fantasy universe. I first thought of them as Banga from Final Fantasy XII and Tactics for a time, but even the Banga have unique qualities that are much different to the Amalj'aa, and seeing how 14 is an MMO in its respect, I knew something had to be taken from 11 for Amalj'aa to exist. In other words, the Amalj'aa are the successors to the Quadrav. Lastly, I want to talk about their significance in the story. If you started in Ul'dah, you'd know that the Amalj'aa are enemies of the state, but soon find peaceful Amalj'aa who share the vision of unifying the main city-states and the other peaceful beastmen. This here only shows progression in the world of 14. If the entirety of beastmen came together with the city-states, invaders such as the Garleans wouldn't be a problem to deal with. But such as conflict, the beastmen are another obstacle for a peaceful world. They are also a hindrance to the Garleans, but mostly to the city-states, adding on to the list of problems plaguing Eorzea. With beastmen and their primals, Garleans and their vow of forceful change, plus other threats like the Dravanian Horde, the Ashians, and perhaps even another god opposing Heidolin, Eorzea may never find peace. But I deem the Amalj'aa as a good first step. They seem like the kind of race to take the lead and show an example of how a beastman race can truly be good. and how they can be extremely dangerous. Of course, that's only the Amalj'aa. We still haven't even touched the Sylph, Kobold, Sahagin, Exo, or even the other new races from the expansion. Maybe someday we'll find their significance in the world of 14. Thanks everyone for watching my video. Of course I had fun, but I still have much to talk about, which is why I want to ask if there's anything else you guys want me to explore. Remember, there is no event, dungeons, items, or even race that doesn't have a lore to them. If you wish to leave a response for me, tell me in the comments below, and if you would, share this with friends and other people. It'll help me and entertain you. Hopefully. Plus another thing, look forward to my lores every Friday. I'm gonna try and get out a lore every Friday and perhaps something in between on Wednesday or somewhere on Saturday. Just some things I want to pick up. Alright guys, see you in the next video.